Nigeria's manufacturing sector saw a 30.38% year-on-year increase in output, reaching 5.34 trillion naira in the first half of 2024, according to the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. However, declining consumer purchasing power led to a significant rise in unsold finished goods, with inventory surging by 357.57% to 1.24 trillion naira in the second half of 2024, compared to 271 billion naira in the same period last year. Man attributed the surge in unsold inventory to inflation, subsidy removal, and naira devaluation, all of which have eroded consumer spending. A 200% increase in electricity tariff was also imposed by distribution companies, has sharply raised energy costs for manufacturers. Let's get some perspective on this. We're joined now by the President, Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, Femi Egbesola. Femi, thank you for joining us. 238 billion on alternative energy by manufacturers. Paint us a picture. What is the implication of this?
Well, what this means really is that a lot of funding that is expected to be used for the growth of manufacturing companies are now being diverted to maintain energy, to make sure that there is stability and sustainability of energy. And because of the consistent fall of the national grid, a lot of money is now being spent on providing alternative energy so that the manufacturing company can still continue to operate and to sustain their operations. And this is costing a lot of money, like I've just explained. And what this also means is that instead of using money for other ventures that will continue to grow the manufacturing sector, this is being diverted into providing alternative energy. It's not good enough. And this is actually rubbing off on the profitability of manufacturing companies this time. And that's why you see quite a lot of large companies declaring more or less low profitability, or at times non-profitability in their records and account book at this time.
There is a phrase that I'd like you to speak on, the alarming increase in the unsold inventories. This has been blamed on declining consumer purchasing power due to escalating inflation, among other issues. Again, if unchecked, what impact will this have on the economy?
Well, the impact really is that big companies, particularly manufacturing companies, will begin to cut down on their overhead. Cutting down on their overhead would mean that one will have to begin to shut down some of the manufacturing plants, some of the manufacturing process, and it will eventually begin to affect jobs. It means that there are going to be job cuts in some of the manufacturing companies. They are going to see as much as even 50% job cut, and that would mean joblessness for more Nigerians. At the same time, too, it will make the manufacturing companies less attractive to international investors that will want to bring in money for investment. It also means that also banks that have lended to these manufacturing companies may not be able to get their money as at when due, because many of the manufacturers may not be able to live up to their debt obligations as time goes on. It also means again that Nigerian manufacturing products will be less competitive, because the prices of these commodities will be very high based on the cost of doing business. When the cost of doing business is high, it is being passed on the consumer, and it means that the prices of the commodity will be higher. And these are very significant factors that should not be overlooked.
Can the government address the power crisis? What is the whispers in the sector, and what should manufacturers do at this point to stay afloat?
Well, our own belief at this point is that government really is confused. Government do not really know how to tackle best this power issue, because of the so many collapses we have experienced, particularly this year and significantly in the last 3 months. And for that reason, any serious manufacturing company must begin to look at backward integration. And that's why you see many of the manufacturing companies now looking at how to begin to generate alternative energy to remain in business. When you're in business, even if your cost of production is high and you are still able to remain in business, it is better than going out of business. And that's what we are having this time. And it will come to a point whereby goods and products of local manufacturers will become very less competitive because it will be very expensive compared to imported ones because of our cost of production. And that's why some of us are beginning to advocate that the federal government should begin to look at how to intervene in the power sector so that it will be not only stable but affordable and accessible to the manufacturing sector of the economy. This is a real sector of the economy that can really grow the GDP of the country, and it should not be toyed with. Again, also, we are looking at making sure that we begin to partner and collaborate with different manufacturing partners to be able to generate single-use energy, such that one manufacturing company can have shared electricity with neighbor manufacturing companies in the same vicinity to reduce costs. These are some of the initiatives that we are looking at the moment. But I must tell you, it's a very tough time for manufacturers this time. And we hope that government begins to look at how to alleviate and intervene in resolving this anomaly.
The onus does lie with the government in this instance. Very important that they do something urgently. Femi, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for the opportunity.